Hi, welcome or welcome back to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and this is part two of this long-winded catch-up video that I decided to put out there in small chunks. So, my first video, I talked about feeling overwhelmed by a TBR, being a slow reader, the challenges with being a slow reader, and buddy reads and book club books. And in this continuation of the conversation, I will be talking about personal reading projects that I participated, engaged in the month of February, that I'm engaging in at the moment, that I'm excited about, and library books. So let's get started. So the first book project that I want to talk about that is really special to me. So I'm a year old on BookTube as a channel, and I started this BookTube channel and started a reading event. I mean, I pretty much just did it for myself. I didn't really, as a new channel, I didn't really do much in terms of spreading word or getting co-hosts or anything like that. And this year I was just so late to the game with the new year and just all the stuff that was happening in December and January, and it was just I didn't have time to put it out with enough time. But I started this reading event that I titled Love Where You Live Reading Challenge. And I think it's important to love where we live. And I think it's important to support our local reading communities. So this is why I started the challenge. And in the last 2 years in February, I dedicate the month of February to supporting local authors, local reading events, local bookstores, local libraries. And I've had a lot of fun with it. So I want to talk to you about this year, during the month of February, my Love Where You Live reading challenge and what I read, what I was up to, all the fun stuff. So I wanted to read books by local authors, and I want to talk about the first book that I engaged with is this YA anthology. The title is Living Beyond Borders, Growing Up Mexican in America. It's edited by Margarita Longoria. I picked up this book. I ordered this from bookshop.org when it came out to benefit my local indie bookstore that specializes in children's, middle grade, and YA literature. And so last year, this is where I was at. The way that I handle anthologies and collections of short stories, I just kind of read randomly. I don't read the stories or the chapters in order. I mood read through them. I jump around in popcorn style reading. So last year I was somewhere this is where I left off. I read maybe two or three of these chapters, and then this year I started at the beginning and I read the first three or four maybe stories. But the way that this anthology is structured, it's a collection of short stories, poems, essays, and comics. So it's really fun. And I especially love that I am the target audience for this book. Granted, I am not a young adult. This is a YA book anthology, but I still feel very much like the target audience. This book belongs on my shelves. These stories belong to me. I see myself in these stories. I wish I had had this book when I was a young adult. So this is very much a book for those of us that are identifying as Mexican, Mexican American, or Chicano, and growing up in the United States, growing up in the borderlands, and it's a fun read. I have enjoyed my time with it. I want to go ahead and share a little bit of what I read. So just to give you like a taste, there is this. Okay. Yes, this one right here. Okay, so the title of this short story is How to Exist in a City of Ghosts, and the author of this short story is Carolyn Dee Flores. The first sentence in this chapter says, "How do I exist in a city of ghosts? By becoming one myself, of course." The narrator goes on to talk to us about their story, and then I want to read the last part of this chapter. Okay, here we go. Today, my mother told me about a lady who works at a hotel and found a wallet with $5,000 in it. My mother interviewed her because my mother is a reporter. If the lady had kept the money, no one would have known. But she turned it in. That made it news. My mother sat across the table from her in one of the hotel rooms and asked her, "So, how does it feel to have done something like this?" Not everyone would have turned the money in. My mother said the woman sat there, smiled, and told her, "Oh, it's very exciting. Everyone has come to visit me. You're here. You came to visit me. The TV people came to visit me. And everyone is asking me questions." The woman was thrilled at the attention. Then the woman said, "You know, I've worked for 30 years at this same hotel. Every day, I do my best. I make the beds. I clean. I do extra just so that someone might notice. And every day, I put the little card where people can write their comments in the little placeholder on the stand. And then every day, I wake up in the morning and I run in and I look at the card to see if anyone has written any comments. They never have, ever. People leave me tips sometimes, but nobody has ever written a comment. And it makes me realize, standing in front of my keyboards as I play these low notes, like wolves howling at the moon in the middle of the night, so many people live their lives with such nobility, and no one ever notices them. Maids, janitors, gardeners, so many people in my city and in other cities around the world who are good people, and you never hear about them. I hear my city of San Antonio scream with passion in the night, and it touches me. It is sad. It is sweet. It is related. I am a better person because I can hear it. I play each note, and this theme song melts me. The sounds rise and fall with the pulse of my almost weeping city, and this woman's voice, and all voices like hers, join together in symphony. I play the next note. I finish my song. It is awesome. And after that, I sit back and I close my eyes, pen in hand, and wait each night, listening for the ghosts in my city who scream out and ask for nothing more than to be noticed, even if only once. So that was How to Exist in a City of Ghosts by Carolyn Dee Flores. And it's good. It's a good collection. Now I know that I love this collection, that I have a relationship with this collection I can relate to. the voices in this collection. And a lot of these voices are local to me authors, and that's really exciting. So it might be different for someone that is not Mexican or Mexican American or Chicano coming to this. It's, you know, it's a different experience. But I hope you liked the excerpt. And I mean, if you're looking to read about the experiences of what it's like to grow up, coming of age, stories like this one, for Chicano, Mexican American, and Mexican youth, this is a good book. Okay. Then I read The Stationery Shop. Well, I listened to the audiobook of The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali, and this is for my local library branch's Diverse Voices book club in the month of February. That was their book pick. This was my first time joining this book club, and I joined because it was part of this reading challenge, this Love Where You Live, right? Like I was going to go and support my local library. So I decided to join their Diverse Voices book club. Excuse me. And it was a good book. I rated it 4 stars. It is a love story. It is not a romance. Don't go into it thinking it's a romance. And it's a beautiful story. It spans a whole lifetime, and it's different continents, and it's about two people who are in love, and things happen, life happens, and how their relationship changes and grows and morphs, and how, life can take you down different paths unexpectedly. A lot of like complicated family issues, tensions. Felt like a good book. Definitely had some good conversations in book club. And I also I bought a couple of books from local bookstores, local authors. So I supported local authors, supported local bookstores. One of the books that I purchased at the local indie bookstore that specializes in children's, middle grade, and YA literature, I went and I got this book there. It's Secret of the Moon Conch, and it is written by David Bowles and Guadalupe Garcia McCall. Both David Bowles and Guadalupe Garcia McCall have stories in this one. So they're both local to me authors, they're Texas authors, and this is the latest David Bowles book, I think. So I am really excited. It's like YA historical fiction. Ancient historical fiction. I love ancient history, and this is like my jam, I think. I think I'm really going to like it. The subheading here says, even 500 years can't keep them apart. The back says, when what was broken is healed, and she who is destined to wield, and he who is commanded to shield, hold the conch in their hands in two different lands, and each other in their hearts, though leagues and eons apart, then will I reveal to the staunch the secret of the moon conch. In modern-day Mexico, Silali is all alone after the death of her beloved abuela. Targeted by a dangerous gang member, she flees to the United States to find her father. The night before her journey, she finds an ancient conch shell on the beach and takes it with her as a memento of home. In 1521, so not necessarily ancient history, in 1521, Calixto is trapped in the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan which is besieged by Spanish invaders. He has fought valiantly, but hope for his people is running out. Desperate to escape, he takes up his mother's sacred conch and sounds a plea to the gods. The conch holds magic. Neither Silali nor Galitzo understand magic that allows them to communicate across centuries and find comfort in each other as they fight to survive. With each conversation, they fall deeper in love, and as the moon waxes, they become more present to each other. But as danger threatens at every turn, will they ever find a way to truly be together? Award-winning authors David Bowles and Guadalupe Garcia McCall craft a beautifully epic story of love across centuries. So it's a love story and fantasy. Yeah. I wanted to read it for middle grade March, but it's YA. I probably won't get to it, but I'm glad I was able to support a local author with this purchase. And then another local poet that I wanted to support during the month of February was Jo Reyes-Boitel. She's a local to me poet, and this is her latest, the Matchstick Litanies. It's a collection of poetry. And I want to give you a taste of her poetry. So this poem is titled, "My Mother is the Center of This House." Having worked for this yard, planted its trees, set the wooden fencing, fortified this house, the plumbing and electrical wiring through it, kept the peace, fed the kids, worked a job, sometimes two, soothed the husband. My mother somehow kept the walls upright. She falls back into the sofa for a moment. The pier and beam foundation of this house yields to the parched ground. Cracks climb along the corners. Gaps still show despite all her work. In early morning light, dust circles her, highlighting the subtle air. Every corner of this house shackles her. When she pulls her arms in to warm herself, the walls bellow in. This brace life, this hold never sleeps. These hands never rest. So this is Jo Reyes-Boitel, The Matchstick Litanies. So those were the books that I purchased, read, am still reading. Poetry collections and short story collections and anthologies. I just kind of like read sporadically. And The Secret of the Moon Conch I haven't picked up yet. I mean, I haven't started yet, but that's it for that. And then, so during that month, Love Where You Live, I signed up to do a craft at my local independent bookstore that my friend owns. And that day that I went to do this craft, I was browsing her shelves and I found 3 books. Well, I found 2 books. And then the other one I had from another reading event. So, okay. So I was at this bookstore browsing the shelves and I came across, oh, I left the other book upstairs. No, it's right here. Never mind. Have them here. So I came across Bloody Valentine. This is a YA vampire series, a Blue Bloods book, and it is written by Melissa de la Cruz. So there's a whole Blue Bloods series, and this is one, and it's a tiny book, like tiny in size and pages, large font. It's YA. It's easy to read. There are like 3 storylines that converge, and it is. I mean, I got it because of the Valentine, and it felt like a good Valentine's Day read, but it also really like got me thinking, I think I should read like the Belchers. Okay. So I love Bob's Burgers. I love it. My husband and I have watched Bob's Burgers over and over and over again. We've watched the movie. every time we watch it, we like laugh. Like it's so funny. And I thought this would be a Tina book. I think this would be a book that Tina from Bob's Burgers would want to read. So it just kind of got me thinking about starting this reading project where I read like the Belchers, and I want to start with Tina. And so because I found this one and I found this one, Horse Girls, edited by Halimah Marcus. And this is the blurb says, a wild rollicking right into the heart of horse country. These essays get at what it means to love horses in all that loves complexity. Anton Desclafani, author of the Yanalasi Writing Camp for Girls. Tina Belcher is a horse girl. Tina would love this book, I think. I mean, I haven't read it, but this has Tina written all over it. So this and this just felt like Tina books. And I was like, yeah, why don't I start the month of February with Tina? And as long as it takes me to read these books, I'll be reading like Tina. And Tina likes writing erotic fiction. She's like a hopeless romantic. So these, but like Bloody Valentine, she's like kind of like quirky gal, you know? So I thought it's a good season to start with Tina. Valentine's Day is this the right season to start with Tina. So got this. And then I also follow the like Book Riot podcast. I listen to a lot of their podcasts, and one of the podcasts that I really enjoy listening to is the When in Romance podcast, and I love their book club picks. So I've like picked up their book club picks, but the timing hasn't always been right. So I end up picking them up after they've already discussed them. But this for the month of February, their book club pick was The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. And I was like, when they talked about it at first, that this was going to be the book club pick, I was like, yes. So I ordered it for that book club and didn't get to it. But then I found these books and I thought, like, oh, this all goes together. This is also a Tina book, I think. I mean, burgers, grilled cheese, like total sandwich vibe is perfect for Tina Belcher. And it is written by Deya Muniz. And I'll read the back because it's kind of funny. Excuse me. Lady Camembert wants to live life on her own terms without marriage. Well, without marrying a man, that is. But the law of the land is that family fortunes cannot be passed down to women. So when her father passes away, she does the only thing she can. She disguises herself as a man and moves to the capital city in the kingdom of Fromage to start over as Count Camembert. But it's hard to keep a low profile when the beautiful Princess Brie, with her fierce activism and great sense of fashion, catches Cam's attention. Cam can't resist getting to know the princess, but as the two grow closer, will she be able to keep her secret? Readers will devour this romantic comedy about mistaken identity, true love, and lots of grilled cheese. So my mouth is already watering thinking of grilled cheese. I love all of the cheese. Like naming proper names for all cheese, Princess Brie and Fromage. It's just so cool. So this is like total Tina vibes. I read this one in February. Probably gave this like 3 stars. It was okay. It was good. If you're into like vampire stories, yeah, why not? I mean, it's about like it's YA, so it's about learning to have courage. So finding in yourself the courage to endure heartbreak, love, be yourself. Those are all themes that we see Tina struggling with, like with heartbreak, with being herself, loving herself, accepting herself, being a good friend, loving others. Like, so yeah. And then I have these pending to be read. But I'm not rushing myself. I'm going to take my time with this project and just have fun with it. I'll keep you posted on my reading like the Belchers. And then I told you that I went to the library for that Diverse Voices book club, and they talked about the next book. So the next book that they're reading was a book I could not pass on. So the next book is The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. I love Kate Quinn. I'm so excited. I checked it out. It's a library book. I'm going back for a second book club meeting, and I am so excited. I have this library book, and then I also have it on audio so I can get through it quickly. A Deckled Edges library book. Yes, please. So cool. And French Flaps, my favorite. So I'm really excited. It's a true based on a true story. It's the best-selling author of The Rose Code returns with an unforgettable World War II tale of a quiet bookworm who becomes history's deadliest female sniper, based on a true story. This is 1937 Kiev. That's all I'm going to say. I can't wait. And then another borrowed book was this one, The Women by Kristin Hanna. This is the most recent Kristin Hanna. So I started a new job in the month of February. It's really exciting. I started a new job, and my boss is someone that I've worked with in the past. She and I have been coworkers before, and now she's my boss, but at one point we were coworkers, and we have a great history of working together. I love and respect this woman, and we read a lot alike. We have a lot of similarities, just like personally, our quirks, and just how much we love reading. So just last week, I was in the office and she just came at me and she was like, push this book into my hands. I was like, here. She read this in a weekend. And so she wants me to read it. And I'm going to see her on Wednesday. So I want to finish it by this coming Wednesday. Wish me luck. She lent me her hardcover copy. So I really want to return this. But I also got it on audio to try to help with the reading. And can't wait. It's a new Kristin Hanna. Like, that's all I'm going to say. I suspect this will be a 5-star book. Okay. And then, not a borrowed book, but a book recommendation that I received during the month of February was from Melinda at a Web of Stories. She shouted me out in a video and recommended that I read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. I immediately looked for it on Everand, and I found it, got it on Everand, and I'm hoping to start it in March, but we'll see. So Melinda, if you're watching, thank you for the recommendation. Noted. We'll get to it. That's it for now. Please watch the next video for continuation of this conversation. See you soon.